to change my camera aperture to 1 along the x-axis and 1 along the y-axis. Now, we can actually turn on a film gate in our viewport so we can see that aspect ratio by coming down to camera settings in under the view and selecting film gate. In that way, let's see, I'll open up hypershade. That way we have an easier time composing this object within that square composition. So let's go ahead and do another render of that and see how that looks. Okay, so that looks all right. Now, one other thing that I'd like you to adjust in your render settings, particularly for this assignment, is go ahead and click on the Indirect Lighting tab. All right, and the Environment drop-down, I want you to click the Create button next to Physical Sun and Sky. Go ahead and perform another render, and let's look at the difference here. Okay, because previously we were just using a global illumination, which doesn't really do much to showcase our model. Physical Sun and Sky does a nice job of putting a nice light source and creating some nice shadows on this object as well. All right, now I'll go ahead and close my render settings. I don't believe we'll need that anymore. And I'm going to come over to my Hypershade. Now, the Hypershade is basically the Materials and Shaders Manager for Maya. I don't necessarily need the split view where I'm also simultaneously looking at my nodes, so I'll just go ahead and maximize the Hypershade. And these are the different materials that you'll probably want to play around with. All right? The first one is an anisotropic shader. It's a specular shader, meaning that it has a very definite highlight and has a certain degree of reflectivity. Now, with an anisotropic shader, that term anisotropic means that that specular highlight is actually will be a directional specific highlight, unlike a blend or a Phong or Phong-E shader, which is an isotropic shader, meaning that that highlight will equally spread along both the x and the y axes. All right, so I can take this anisotropic shader, I'll middle mouse click on it and hold, and you see that I get a little plus symbol next to the shader. I can just drag that, whoops, not onto the actual render view, but instead I'll drag that onto my model right over here in my viewport. Now, if I do another render, all right, we'll start to see these highlights appearing around our object. All right, let's go ahead and